event going. There are so many people from the crypto community also just throwing events, just getting people together. Wanting to show their innovation, wanting to make deals happen.
And that's decentralization, right? And you can see that in this conference and in other conferences as well. It's like we're offering a platform for people to come in to Toronto, wherever we are, and set up their own event. And if they're interested in some esoteric art thing or some like esoteric finance thing, whatever they want to do, they can do their own event. And it's still part of the mix here, it's still part of the conversation. We like to be very inclusive into everyone having a voice.
Just one note on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, it rises all boats. I mean, we're seeing a boom in Ethereum, which was the most hated coin for a while there, but now it's really surging. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum and Bitcoin, actually. Okay, Bitcoin right now, $103,293. It's trading pretty flat today. Let's head on over to Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum is at 2572. Yesterday was ripping over 9%. You see that in the chart up there. Now it's still holding a sizable gain. So we're seeing a lot of acquisitions, mergers in this time because people are excited again. They want to see they see that the crypto market is back up and people are ready to make deals again.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see Ethereum come up. Obviously, people have been complaining in the Ethereum community and the wider financial markets that Ethereum is a laggard in this cycle, that it's not running with Bitcoin, but it's now very much up in the last week, 25-30% from where it was. So, you know, that's encouraging to see.
And as I mentioned earlier, Ethereum was born in Canada, in Toronto to be exact. Canada is the 10th largest economy in the world, with a GDP of over $2 trillion. It's a resource-rich country with plenty of blockchain adoption opportunities in sectors like energy, agriculture, healthcare, and finance. Joining us now to discuss is Qaleya Carrington. She's the Executive Director of the Canadian Blockchain Consortium. Qaleya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So, I mean, Canada has quite a history in developing the crypto industry. And so tell me what is the latest that Canadians are doing to help this industry thrive?
I would say that we're very actively engaging with our policymakers and regulators. What we've seen in a lot of other G20 countries, looking at Singapore, Japan, the UK, even into like El Salvador, Middle East, a lot of times when these industries are starting to thrive, including the States, we're seeing legislative and policymakers producing the kind of policies that allow for regulators to interpret in such a way that it can become more friendly. So we're just engaging very strongly from a regulatory and policy perspective to help create a framework that makes Canada a more friendly place to do business.
So we just had an election here in Canada, but crypto was not really on the agenda very much, not like it was in the US election back in November.
Wait, I'll qualify that. What? I mean, Pierre Poilievre, he was a Bitcoiner. He said that.
But he wasn't really discussing it during the campaign so much, right?
True.
So why was that? Why was crypto not really a thing here?
So I would say when Pierre had come out very pro-Bitcoin at one point, he had purchased some shawarma with Bitcoin. It became quite a big news story where the opposition or the leader, Justin Trudeau, a lot of negative rhetoric came out. So I'd say from our industry's perspective, we're actually quite happy that it didn't turn into more of a partisan-based issue where the conservative, or if you're used to American terms, Republican Party was very pro, and then the Democratic Party was very against it. So they didn't table it mainly because they didn't want the controversy, and they recognized that over 35% of Canadians actually interact within this industry. So neutrality was actually a better position to take than positive and negative opposing views.
What do we know about Mark Carney and his views on cryptocurrencies and the wanting any innovation in the digital asset space, and wanting regulatory clarity?
So historically, from what we've seen, because as he's been Prime Minister, we haven't seen any recent developments or statements regarding our industry, but historically he's been very pro central bank digital currency and very pro blockchain innovation. We are hearing that there are members within his ministry and caucus that are very pro digital asset space and interested in within this innovation. So we're definitely hoping to see a more positive lens from our Prime Minister coming towards this industry. But I think it's going to take the right policies put in front of his desk that help him understand the actual economic benefits that this industry brings, the jobs, the growth, the ability to support meeting a net zero standard through utilization of the technology. So,
and how much are we dependent on the central government of Canada in Ottawa versus the other provinces of Canada to make regulation?
So I would say, like, if we're looking at provincially leading the pack, it would be Alberta.